Redstone components are cool, but some are far cooler than others, and I thought today we would settle it once and for all by creating YouTube's favourite, the tier list, starting from whatever the S stands for, I can't remember now. I've just googled it and I still don't really know, which is the best tier. It's like the God tier, the ultimate. A is still good, B is good, C is not so hot, E is pretty rubbish, and Z is just, get out. I think that makes sense. I hope you understand, so let's just get to it. Redstone dust, repeaters, comparators, and redstone torches, I think all belong in the God tier. Am I allowed to do that? Is that against tier list rules, to just immediately put a bunch of things in the God tier? I feel like that's wrong. But without them, without these core redstone components, pretty much nothing would be possible. So they have to go here. If anything, they're the only things that belong here. Pistons and sticky pistons. They almost feel like God tier things as well. With that being said, regular pistons aren't quite as useful as sticky pistons, so they can go in tier A. TNT is a bit of a tricky one because it's super fun to use, but it isn't actually that useful. Especially now that we have Efficiency 5 and Haste 2. But then TNT duplication and carpet bombing machines, I'm going to put it in B. Now that I think about it, Minecraft 1.14 with the big change to TNT, it probably belongs in tier A, doesn't it? Yeah, it's extremely useful now. If I was more musical, this one would definitely be higher, but I'm not, so tier E. The only thing stopping it from being tier Z is Grande's face. The lever is a bit of a tricky one to rank because it's not inherently that useful in terms of redstone contraptions, but then again, it turns them on. Like, we literally turn things on using it, but then we don't use it anywhere else. Can I put it in B tier? The thing that activates all my redstone contraptions pretty much is a B tier? I'm putting way too much thought into this. This is just meant to be a goofy video. Stone pressure plates are a solid C tier, as are, I would say, wooden pressure plates. Wooden pressure plates are probably a C tier as well. Iron pressure plates look a little bit cooler, so I'd say they're B tier, and they have some interesting functionality. And so do the gold pressure plates, because we can use those with villagers and things, counting mobs. Yeah, both types of button. The stone button, I would say, is a C tier, whereas the wooden button is a B tier just because of the redstone clock thing. You get 8 pulses from a fast redstone clock with a wooden button, and that's a useful number when it comes to items in Minecraft. First row has been completed. Right, next up we have got the tripwire hook. That's got to be... Is that even an E tier? I feel like that's an E tier. The observer is absolute God tier. In fact, you know what? It's going up here. It's having its own little nib up at the top there. It's slightly above everything else. Also, if you can't tell, once again, I'm getting progressively iller throughout this video. I do apologize. 2 weeks ago, I would have put the daylight sensor around about here in the E tier, but now I know how we can send wireless redstone signals using it. I would say I'm going to bump it up to a C tier. The lectern is one of those things that is useful for very, very specific things. So I would say it's an E tier just because, well, there's only one use for it, really. The trap chest, if it wasn't for the fact that you can redirect redstone signals using it, would be a Z tier. I might put it up in an E tier, though, although it's very much on the edge. The dispenser is a solid B tier for me. It might be slightly better if it was easier to craft in survival mode. The dropper, though, I would say that's a solid A tier. Yeah, droppers are pretty fantastic. I use them in pretty much all my redstone builds. They're incredibly useful. The redstone lamp. It has a very, very specific use, and it kind of only does that. So it's really useful if you need a redstone lamp, but outside of that, there's not too many other uses for it. It can't be a C tier though, can it? But is it as good as a dispenser? Probably not. I'm gonna have to put it down here. A wooden door is pretty pants, isn't it? Let's be honest with you. Same thing. An iron door, maybe slightly less pants. Yeah, let's put that in E tier, but still, use pistons. Come on, it's 21st century. I meant to say 2019 there, but whatever. Now that you can use wooden trapdoors to quickly put yourself into crawl mode, which really helps out with debugging redstone contraptions, I put it in the A tier. Iron trapdoors, however, maybe even down here. That seems harsh. I'm gonna go up here. Slime blocks, there's no question about it. Absolute god tier material, that is. Shulker boxes, from a purely redstone perspective, maybe here. Because they allow you to pack lots of items, so you don't need massive storage systems. That's Yeah, C tier. By the way, I just recently discovered something really strange with shulker boxes. Let me just quickly show you. You can place redstone dust on top of a shulker box and you can open the shulker box without it having any effect on it. But if you give the redstone an update, then it will actually pop off. This means that you can actually have a line of shulker boxes, and if you open one of them, then the redstone will break and your redstone line will turn off. So that could be useful. Let's go through all the different rail types. Okay, so if you're all mango, powered rails, god tier stuff. If you're someone like me or a regular Minecraft redstoner, I would say powered rails probably go in, this tier here, next to the shulker box. Yeah, I'd say that's about fair. Regular rails, I would say probably down here. Activator rails, definitely Z tier material, absolutely pants. And detector rails here, because you can use them with minecart chests to give comparator outputs. That is handy. Now onto all the minecart types. Hopper minecart, absolute god tier stuff. So many farms are made possible by this thing. Without it, we'd be in real trouble. Minecart chest, probably next to the detector rail. Category B, tier B. People get upset if I call it a category. Furnace minecart, below Z tier here, and you know what? I think I'm actually just going to throw it into the void, to be honest with you. It doesn't even deserve to be in the item frame. TNT minecart, instant explosion is very nice, but it can't be duplicated like regular TNT can be. So I would say category E. Yeah. Cauldrons in Minecraft 1.14 probably belong around about here. They're expensive and they're frustrating. You have to have loads of water buckets on you. Whereas composters are the new cauldrons. They are going in god tier. People are also probably getting annoyed that I'm referring to S tier as god tier throughout this entire video. This is another one that's very recently changed in Minecraft 1.14. I once did a video saying that stone slabs were the best block in Minecraft. Now, they're going in tier A because glass has come along and taken its place. It's just much cooler looking, and also if you place redstone on top of it, you actually can't see it from underneath, which is crazy. Immovable objects. This is probably one of the hardest ones to put in a category, because there's so many things that would be impossible if we didn't have immovable objects. But then again, is it more useful than something like a dropper or a piston? I don't know. Yes, I think it is. Am I going to put it in S tier? Can I do that? Will I do that? Sort of. I mean, I've come up with a solution. Bam! It has its own thing off to one side. It is in a lot of tiers. I'm sure a lot of you are angry about that. I'm ruining the sacredity of the tier list. Dead corals are pretty cool. It's a bit of a weird redstone component, but it's used for duplicating TNT, and that in of itself probably puts it in tier C. Even though there's only one use for it, it's a good use. Kind of the same story with dragon eggs. Now, this is not something that I have experience with very much, but this is what you use to break bedrock. So it kind of has to go in tier C, because without them, I mean, yeah, that can't happen. Now, onto a very tricky one for me. I think we've all agreed now that people do actually care about ice a little bit, and it is sort of useful. So I'm not going to put it under the tier list like I did for my farms tier list video. I'm going to bump it up to Z. See, sometimes you have to be mature and you have to respect the fact that people are different, and some people do actually care about ice, even if you don't. Obviously, those people are silly people, but they exist. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Chickens in 2012 would be absolute S tier. We loved a good chicken randomizer back in 2012, but nowadays they've kind of fallen out of favor, and sadly, are now in Z tier. Terracotta seems like it would be really useful because it can slide past slime blocks, but it's not an immovable object. But the fact that it doesn't stick to sticky pistons, although that totally makes sense, actually makes it a little bit useless. I think it's Z tier as well, to be honest with you. Although I never use command blocks, I do have to appreciate the fact that they are complete game changers, and from what I hear from command block people, also armor stands. Armor stands also belong in S tier. The campfire is quite a lot of fun to play with. In terms of redstone contraptions, it is pretty cool, but its uses are very, very limited, so I would say E tier, maybe even verging on Z. Beacons are, I mean, they're sort of a redstone component because you can use multicolored beacon beams. That's fun, but E. They were also, for a time, the only transparent immovable object in the game that you could place redstone on. It was just a really expensive way to do it. Falling entities, gravity blocks and things. Pretty handy indoors. They can actually be used in redstone contraptions. Yeah, it's about as useful as a redstone lamp, I would say. Barrels, kind of more usable than chests inside redstone circuitry because you can actually run redstone lines over the top of them. So once again, yeah. See, item frames are another one. It's pretty handy to use them for selection systems and things, but a little bit like the lectern, they're kind of, yeah, they're very limited in use, so I would put them in E tier. That kind of threw me off there, you know, because the item that I'm actually placing in the item frame is in the same inventory spot. Now this, you have to understand, is meant to be a honey block, just recently announced for Minecraft 1.15. Seems incredibly interesting if it doesn't stick to slime blocks. If honey blocks don't stick to slime blocks, I will lose my pants and maybe even put them above observers for a brief time. But if they do, if they do stick to slime blocks, I mean, they'll probably be interesting. But they're probably, yeah, they're probably around about here. So, Mojang, you know what to do, guys. You know what to do. So, I guess that just about does it then. Tier list completed. And, I mean, I can't help but notice that the most populated category is actually God tier. So that, I don't know if that's allowed. Once again, yeah, the tier list police are just going to come in and punch me in the face. But still, we've got some lovely stuff up at the top here. Plenty of useful redstone components. And I would say I actually agree. Yeah, now that I'm looking at it in its completion, I would say this is about correct. Let me know down in the comment section if I'm totally wrong. I mean, I don't have to tell you to do that. You're already arguing down there. I can feel it. I can absolutely feel it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later. I cannot wait to see the brawls that are going to be happening down in the comment section. I also can't wait to read the comments that say that I've made this video before. I actually, funny enough, I did. And then I posted it accidentally at like 6 in the morning with no title, no thumbnail or anything. And I deleted it and I was so embarrassed that I never put it back up. So I thought I'd re-record it a few months later and improve it as well.